guys, my name is Noah. I'm an RA here at Black Forest Academy, and today we're going on a little walk. It's not just any walk though. I'll be joined by one of my good friends, and we're going to talk just a little bit about what it means to really be an RA here in the dorms. So, without further ado, let's get straight into it, shall we? All right, guys, I'm with.
Ereina,
What are we doing today?
we're going to go for a walk and we're going to have a chat.
What are we going to talk about?
We're going to talk about all things RA, BFA, res life.
That's right. All right, let's get straight into it. What tangible things do you do as an RA?
A lot of the things that I do that are more tangible that you can see is stuff like cooking or meal prepping, grocery shopping. That's probably about like 50% of our job is
Sure.
cooking or preparing meals, thinking about meals, feeding all the kids in your dorm. But it also can look like doing paperwork. It can look like being a nurse sometimes. It can look like having lunch with students at school, playing games with them, driving them around, being their chauffeur, something like that. What kind of stuff do you do?
Yeah, I think, to build on that, it's kind of like being a homeowner. There's a lot of maintenance that goes into it. For our dorm, I do the vehicle maintenance, so I take care of it. And we had some issues with it earlier this week, so that's something I had to do. We do a lot of event planning, so we want it to be a fun experience for these guys on off days or when they have vacation. So a lot of that is really event planning, putting in the work, organizing, reserving places, and then going and doing them.
Sometimes too, it's also tutoring or helping with homework,
That's right.
or even going to parent-teacher conferences, or doing stuff on like school side, being that
That's right.
liaison for the students and the teachers.
That's right. That's right. So one of the things that came to mind when really thinking about what the RA does is, before I came here, I really just wanted to know what are some of the things that entailed being an RA, and what are some of the unexpected. So what are some things that you didn't know you'd be doing and you wish you'd known? And for me, one of those things really is the parenting aspect. I think a lot of the RA role involves taking care of paperwork, medication. You're driving these guys everywhere, and you need to know their schedules before everything that they do. And so part of that is having an administrative mind, kind of like a parent, except you're doing it with a whole bunch of kids. For me, it's 17. For you,
It's 20.
it's 20. So I have it easy. But what about you? What are some things that you wish you knew beforehand?
That's really good. I think the responsibility aspect of it you can like conceptualize, but it's different when you're actually doing it.
Sure.
Something for me that I wasn't expecting coming into the role was how much more it was than just the students, because we talk so much about like we're here for the students, we came for the students, which is 100% true, and you are here for the students and that is your job. But at the same time, you're working on a staff with another co-RA or two co-RAs, and you have dorm parents that you're working with, and you're actually here for them as well. You're not just here for the students, because your dorm is your family. And so it's super important to be also emotionally and relationally investing in the people that you're working with. And I didn't know that coming in, about how important those relationships were going to be to me, and how it was going to be more than just pouring into the students, and how much you need adult relationships too,
Of course.
instead of just teen relationships. You got to have some peers too.
That's so true. Should we keep walking?
Yeah, let's do it.
That's it. Ereina, what are some of the challenges that you've faced?
There's a lot, but I think some of the major ones that kind of can be thematic over all the things that are challenging about this job. The first one is transition. I'm a first year RA, and so transitioning into a new country and a new culture is always challenging, but also transitioning into a new job, a job that's so hands-on and you have to be present all the time, and you're building relationships constantly, and also your whole personal life is on display. Adjusting to all of that can be super challenging. Even if it is the reason why you're here, it can still be hard. But I think one of the biggest challenges for me personally since being here has been the relationship building aspect of it. I'm such a relational person, and so I love that my job is building relationships with students and with my staff. I really love that. But it does mean that outside of the job, it can be hard to build relationships. Our job is very much a 24-hour living life kind of job, and it's kind of opposite of people working school side. And so it can be really challenging to find times to build community and build relationships with people outside of work because of time scheduling, but also because of capacity. You're pouring so much into other people, like your students, that when you go to pour into your friends that you know you should be doing and you want to, you don't have anything left to give. And that can be kind of a challenging place to be in.
So true. Yeah, to build on top of that, the isolation you face, though you're surrounded by so many people, can be something that takes time to get used to. I would argue it's so worth it in the end, but it is really tricky to manage your calendar and your schedule when you're off, because this is sort of a 24/7 job. You are their legal guardians, at least the students, and so making sure that you have time and the capacity, like you're saying, to build relationships outside your workplace can be very tricky.
Yeah.
But now let me ask you, is it worth it?
Oh, it's 100% worth it.
Of course it is. Let's keep going. Really?
Yes, I was.
See, I didn't know this. Check out the view, guys. It only gets better.
Noah, knowing what you know about the job now, what would you have most looked forward to before coming into this role?
I think there's so many things, but I think one of the biggest is the type of relationship that you can have with students. I think I did ministry before this. I did sort of a short-term week camp counseling gig, and what was really cool was spending 24/7 with guys and building that relationship. But I found it hard because the level of intimacy you could get was very shallow because it was just a week. I was also in a different position where you had a year-long thing that there wasn't that place for one-on-one discipleship, and I think this place really offers, especially as RAs, the opportunity to have deep relationships with guys and girls in a way that's super impactful, because you're walking with them every day, you're seeing their highs and their lows, you're being there for them, and you're just living life and having fun with them. I think that was something that, if I had known how cool it really was, I would have done this a lot sooner. What about you?
My answer is the same. I think I knew that I was going to love the kids coming into this job, but it's different when faces and names, and because you get to know them so personally, in a literal sense, like you know their schedules, you know their medical history, you know the classes that they're taking, but there's something really impactful about also knowing the heart of these children, and knowing where they're coming from, where they want to go, their hopes and dreams, and getting to play a small part in their lives that's the thing that's rewarding, is the Lord allowing you to be his hands and feet for just a little while in the story of their lives. And no, we have a little bit of the bigger picture than they do, and so it just makes it really exciting for me, I think. But I agree with you. If I had known what this job was like in that regard sooner, I would have gotten here a lot quicker.
Oh man. All right, well, the best view is still to come. Let's get going. Guys, this place is so beautiful. Black Forest of Germany, guys. Ereina, what does discipleship look like for you in the dorm?
It can look like a lot of different things. I think some students can be very proactive and they'll want to initiate discipleship. And so they'll come to you and ask for you to disciple them or ask you to do a Bible study with them. And that's really easy because that's someone who like really wants it. But sometimes you have to be the initiator of discipleship and you have to pursue the students, which also can be really fun because some students don't even recognize that that's something that they need. But I also think there's a difference between spiritual discipleship and like practical life discipleship. The spiritual discipleship is obviously super exciting because you're getting to pour into these students and teach them more about God and get to join them on that part of life, which is like super exciting. And again, why we're here. But also, practical life discipleship is so critical and is a huge part of our jobs because we're trying to teach these students how to be adults. And so that can look like anything like how to clean your room or how to live in community. And that is just as valuable as spiritual discipleship. But two words that I would use to describe what's important to me in discipling my kids is prayer and pursuit. There has to be so much prayer going into your relationships and your conversations with your students, and you have to trust the Holy Spirit in you to give you the words to say in those moments where you don't have the answers. And you also need to be consistent in your pursuit of your students, because I mean, we were all teens once. Your emotions go up and down, and ours do too. And so, if we can be consistent in our pursuit of them, that to them is a demonstration of the unconditional love of Christ, and we get to demonstrate that to them in that way. So, those two things I try to remember as I'm discipling my kids.
For sure, and I think the dorms consist of 9th grade to 12th grade, and so these high school students are at a critical age where discipleship matters. They're looking at you, they're observing you, and so not only are you able to disciple them in the sense that they are seeing you every day, just live life and what it means to really walk with Jesus, but they are seeing your lows and your highs, and so you have a responsibility almost to be walking with Jesus, and in your lows to realize that people are looking at you in those moments, and it's opportunities for us as RAs to step up and to really walk with Jesus because it's important and it reflects, and so I think that's really cool as well.
This is the view, guys.
This is it. Check it out. So beautiful. Alright, so Ereina and I are both TCKs, or third culture kids, grew up around the world. But what specifically about Germany has surprised you?
I think something that surprised me is how Germans love the rules, and everybody knows the rules, and we're expected to know the rules and follow the rules. And so all the time, there's just this constant like, I'm afraid I'm going to break the rules, except when there's a holiday, and then all rules go out the window. And Germans love to party, and that for me was such a stark contrast and was kind of surprising that I wasn't expecting. But I feel like I'm starting to get used to it.
Yeah, I think to build on top of that, despite popular belief, Germans they're really friendly, and there's nothing they love more than having a conversation with you. All right, guys, I propose we race, but we jog race because this is a really deep hill. I think I'm gonna win, but she has boots on.
I do have boots on, but you have sneakers on.
I have sneakers on.
So that might.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
On your mark, get set, go. Ereina, where are we? This is our little sweet town center. Beautiful place.
So it's both of our first years, but it's good to sometimes look back and think about the things that you've enjoyed. So Noah, what's been one of your highlights over the past year?
That's a good question. I think for me, every dorm has a different birthday tradition celebration. And for new staff, our dorm has a very secret tradition that I can't disclose. But what I can tell you is there was 17 guys who all gurgled water and then drenched me in it. So I think that was definitely a highlight to be a part of, for sure. What about you?
Mine is not so uh, involved as that.
Gruesome.
Yeah, gruesome. That's a better
Yeah.
word. I think one of my highlights was our dorm Thanksgiving. We as a dorm took one day where all of us turned our devices in, and we played flag football in the morning. We had brunch together. The kids played Monopoly and took like naps, and
Wow.
but we spent most of the day preparing a big Thanksgiving meal, which we all got dressed up for, and ate together as a family. And then we went and watched the middle school play. That was one of my favorite days because it was one of the first times in the year where our entire dorm was all there at the same time all day. And I just really love that.
That's so cool. Guys, we have come to the end. This is our dorm. This is my dorm. Thank you for walking with us. Thank you for listening to us. We hope that may have answered some questions that you might have about what it's like to be an RA here. I hope it gave you a glimpse, a picture, if you will, of what life is like here at the dorm.
If you have any questions, there's lots of ways to contact BFA. And if you want to get a hold of us, you can ask, and we'd love to answer any more questions that you have. Thanks for coming with us.
That's right. Bye.